Hello ladies and gentlemen, Random Gamer Riven here in tonight's randomised gaming stream, and I will be your host for this video as always. So, it is the start of another week in randomised gaming streaming, and today's video is actually going to be something a bit different, as I thought I wanted to do one of the more obscure North American PlayStation games. This is The Divide, The Enemy Within, and I must admit it's actually quite an obscure game, quite hard to actually get hold of a copy in Europe. We did manage to get one. Unfortunately it's a little sun faded and a little worse for the wear condition wise, but it's still nice to actually have a North American exclusive title. Incidentally, it has written on the box, it's got Sleeper Hit of the Year, Totally Addictive, PSX Magazine, and it was released in officially 1997. I saw some date the copyright is 96, but apparently it was released in 97. It was developed by Radical Entertainment, and it was released or published by Viacom New Media. It was also released on the PC if you're interested, so the PC version I think was released in 1998. It's probably going to be a bit of a pain to run the PC version, but if you can get it to run probably via sort of virtual boxes, it might be quite good. But of course the PS1 version is probably easy to get and play if you've got access to it, because it was North American only. It was not released in Europe. We had to import it, so. And basically it's the closest, one of the close games to Metroid. So as I mentioned in the description, there's only really, you've got Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but really there's not a huge amount of Metroid games on the PS1 in that era. The Saturn as well, I think the Saturn only had Symphony of the Night, or Nocturne of the Moonlight is its actual name. Symphony of the Night is a mistranslation. So without further ado, I will get cracking. So you've been awakened from cryosleep for a mid-voyage evaluation of reflection operation. The Tegator unit, destroy the targets and find the exit to return to stasis. So it's a fully 3D rendered Metroid game. Jump, press X. Probably one of the first actually Metroid style. Or as I was thinking about this earlier, and actually I don't like the term Metroidvania, because Metroidvania references Symphony of the Night, and Symphony of the Night was actually much later. Really, it's sort of, you could argue it should be Dragon's Trap, and there's a few other games. Really, it should be called something like explorative progression as a genre. Oh, that reminds me, I just need to grab my headphones, because you can probably hear the music. I'll just turn that down a second. Actually on time today, starting the stream. I think this is, I should really get better at actually starting it on time, but I think I've been kind of, initially I've been a bit lax because I didn't know how well they'd do, and seeing as we do seem to be getting quite popular with them, you know, I'll probably be a bit more efficient at getting them, making sure they're up and running when we're at night dead on 9:30. Now, I have briefly played this before, and I used the word briefly. I think I did the first 20 or so minutes. So hopefully this all works on the PS2. So I've got the grenades. Okay, so we can aim up and we can aim down. Okay, off the bat, I noticed the jumping is very mechanical. Yeah, actually. I've really got to hammer that down. If you just gently tap, it doesn't jump. Really got... So Gatling recovered, press triangle to fire, hold R2 and press to change weapons. Just to change fire, so we can shoot up, and we can shoot down. We shoot straight up, so we actually can't shoot behind us. We can shoot down. The fall was rather damaging. Yeah, the jumping is not ideal. That I will say. Okay, there we go. You can move the camera angle by... Okay, so we can actually change the camera angle. That's quite good. It's a shame this wasn't a game. This might have just been before the dual thingy pads were released. Okay, so we have got... Okay, so there we go, we've got a leap. Okay, I'll let this intro play out before I say anything more.
They sent their seeds to rain down upon us. The seeds whose fruits would be my memory, my being. The divide was always here before they came, but it knew nothing of itself. Creatures lived here, but knew nothing of their lives. I wonder, was it a cosmic plan, or was it a cosmic accident that began this history? I don't know what it was, but it spread like an infection over the divide. It infected everything. Changed everything. who came looking for new planets to conquer was Tankan the Destroyer. Advina, creator of new worlds, cared nothing for the conquest. Advina came to escape the old worlds. Once inside their machine bodies, Tankan and Advina feared nothing. Perhaps they should not have been so confident as they descended from space uninvited. Once they arrived, there was no turning back. From that day forward, Tankan slept in that frozen bed. And from that day forward, the divide changed. It took some time, of course, but the divide warmed up. Unaware of the forces which led to that recovery, Tankan simply thawed out and went forth to find the hostage Advina. Tankan would come to understand how Advina's fate would link their destinies forever to this world.
Okay, so there we have the start of the intro for Divide. A little bit, I turned up the volume a little bit, it's quite quiet, but the premise is literally, of course, you saw there, you basically it throws, and so clearly a large amount of time has passed, so obviously the person we're looking for to rescue is probably not going to be around, but it's certainly an interesting premise. And somebody said that sounds very much like the Doom sound effect, I thought a couple of people mentioned. So see, my droid is absolutely knackered at the minute. I can't adjust the camera by holding down the select button. Yep, I know that. At the minute I can't jump, I can only shoot because obviously my droid's been absolutely damaged. Although if we sort of travelled down, surely none of the parts would have to revive our mech. Does very much sound like the Doom sound effects, I have to admit. Just turn the game volume down a touch. I turned it up during that cutscene as the intro was very, very quiet. So effectively this is, like I mentioned, a Metroid style game in that you basically travel the world, gain power-ups, and that enables you to progress and access areas you previously couldn't. Go through there. Kill this chap. I think it's fair to say this is probably a little bit rough around the edges. I can feel the frame rate dipping already in this section. Travel down. So we can explore the forest canopy. And just quickly check out the start of this area, then I can go back to the previous area and explore that fully before I start venturing on. Just look at the status there. So we've got pulse laser, probe, energy. So we've got... Okay, I'm actually stuck in the ground there because I can't jump up, which is the power up there, so obviously I can't go to this area until I... So yes, very much getting a Metroid vibe from this. I couldn't actually walk out in the forest area because I can't jump at the minute. So although you saw me jumping in the tutorial, or because my robot has been damaged as part of the story, I can't now jump. Just actually dig out the manual, see what that gives me a background, or if it just tells me the same story, or... Yeah, so you'll notice here the frame rate is very smooth, very silky. When I go into this next area, because it's quite a big area, you definitely notice the changes in frame rate quite substantially. As many a game show used to say, "Come on down, the frame rate is right." Or the price is right. I'm just reminded, frame rate, come on down. So I think it's fair to say this was probably as it was done by a relatively obscure developer. Publisher. It's probably not going to be the most refined product, but it's always worth looking at games like this because often you'll find, even if the frame rate's not as smooth, the graphics aren't as good, you still get a very good and interesting game. And the concept is actually pretty nice. Certainly something a bit different. You wouldn't see mainstream games necessarily tackle this. The only other one this reminds me a little bit of in similar stance is Egg, which is or Element Gimmick Gear on Sega Dreamcast, which was also sort of Metroidvania or Metroid style game, although that was I wouldn't say Element Gimmick Gear was totally Metroid. There was some progressive area. It was more, had a bit more of a progressive structure, but you could revisit stuff to get power-ups. Because there were a few bits in Element Gimmick Gear that were like, there was a rocket that went up in space, and once you got on that, the rocket was then gone. So if you missed any of the power-ups in it, they then became unobtainable. can go through here. I can't go through there. Yeah, I'm getting it. The music's quite. It's got a very similar feel to Metroid with this sort of charm. There's almost this like African mystical sort of creature screams in the background, which give you a sense of the unknown. Something I think Metroid did very, very well. I can pan, I can zoom. Okay, pan map. So LR2 allows me to do that, to rotate it. So really want some diagonal. Okay, that's actually quite cool. 3D maps, like you don't get in Metroid. At least not in the early Metroids. Did you get? I think you got them in the later one, so I wonder if that's a feature Metroid borrowed from this Retro Studios. Okay, that's weird. The frame rate suddenly shot up. Beating all the enemies. Okay, so I should know I'm playing this on a PlayStation 2, so there may be some slight issues with this on the PS2 that you'll see that wouldn't occur on the PS1. I've got access to this. I've got a map now, but it doesn't really help me at this point. It's a bit. I can't jump. Ah, that's moved now. Okay, that means getting certain power-ups gives you. Just check the map. It shows me the doors. The upper door that I fell down from. Ah, there's another one, so there's actually you can cut across there as well. That's actually quite cool, the map. That is really quite cool. So you've got the exits. You see at the minute I can't do much because I can't jump. So obviously my first power-up's going to be the jump, and then at some point we're going to get the double jump. Which, if I'm going to be honest, the tutorial section probably wasn't necessarily needed because it spoils some of the power-ups. So I know instantly we're going to need to get the double jump. And we're not going to get the jump with the double jump, that's for sure. So as I've had a couple people mention in the past, the comment a lot of these Metroidvanias is, when do I get the double jump? So L1 strafe. Yeah, the frame rate's definitely affected by the... Do I have the stage map for this area? I do, so... So you got power up in this stage. one thing you just need, you have to get a bit used to where you're aiming. Okay, so here we go, the memory room. Obviously that's what the X means. Okay, so just getting used to the map controls are quite nice. One thing, as I mentioned, the aiming you do need to get a bit used to, I'm discovering. So R1 allows you to strafe and fire in the same direction. L1 now to allow you to raise, but you've really got to get used to the raising and tactical positioning of shooting, otherwise you're going to get killed. A bit disappointing enemies came back so quickly. I was hoping we might get a scene break, like some of the other games where basically Metroid, a few of them tended to give you a break. If you killed all the enemies in one scene, they wouldn't re-emerge till you were like 2 screens ahead or something. For Castlevania, they return every screen, so... Definitely, I have noticed changing the frames and camera angle does change frame rate. You can see there, so I just hold that down to that one. This one's definitely smoother camera angle. It's smooth. It's still a bit juddery, but it looks a lot smoother compared to this one. The larger camera view, there's definitely a slight frame rate drop. So initial impressions, it's actually quite an interesting game. It's definitely got flaws. They're relatively obvious from the get-go, but I think I could probably live with these flaws. Combat is perhaps not as fluid as it could be. Certainly how you raise and lower the guns. Probably could do the targeting system where it automatically tracks the enemies. Where you literally press it to target enemies. Actually judging where some of the enemies are is a little bit tricky. Let's just have a look at the stage map. door. Yeah, the R1 button holds you into position to shoot. That's really is essential. Hello, Farakuma. I like and love Tina. Thank you for joining Randomized Gaming on the the Randomized Gaming live stream. This is actually really the first time I've actually played Divine Within, but we've heard a lot of good things about it. So, well, I should say the Divide Enemies Within, and it's certainly quite an interesting Metroidvania, as we're finding out. It's sort of mid-life PS1 game. It wasn't made, as I mentioned, by a big-name developer. It was made by Radical Entertainment, so it's not the best-looking game, but it's certainly always interesting to play a game with some really nice. It's got some quite nice ideas, and I can't think of another Metroidvania quite like this. That's for sure. This close view is probably better for navigating this tile set. This tile set's going to be really easy to navigate once we have the jump. For the minute we don't have the jump ability. We have got a door there. Have we got a door over here as well? Yeah, we have. We've actually got two doors. Okay, that door's blocked off until we have the jump, so yeah, I'm going to need the jump to access that. I don't think. Let me just check that hasn't opened it. Because as we've seen, some of these plat blocks do move as you get items, so. Gonna need the jump to access that, so I'm guessing the first major power we're probably going to get is the jump, which we had in the tutorial. We've got the Jungle Gorge. I wouldn't be surprised if in order to get the jump we have to defeat a boss. You know, I do get a bit of an Element Gimmick Gear vibe. There's certainly some similarities between that and this. Okay, that took a lot of damage, so let's. A grenade recovered. Press. To grenade. Press R2. Can I actually use the grenades? Okay, no, so basically we've got a one-way trick. Okay, this area is clearly just guiding me to here. Go back in there and save because games prints on memory card. No, I don't. It's not telling me there's a memory card port one. But there is, and we saved it a few minutes ago. Or has it full up the memory card and doesn't let me save again? That would be a bit of a bug. There we go. That's a weird bug. You just press R1 or L1 to change ports. Not a great... you didn't want to do that. Just seeing it, so we've got... We've only got 3 doors in... Oh, we've got 4 doors in this area, okay. But I don't appear to be able to... I'm assuming I can use a grenade to blow open the blockage in front of the previous exit we just saw. Now, it's fair to say, graphically, this is probably not the most best looking game, but I think gameplay-wise, I'm quite liking this. It's moving fairly fast, so it's not a bad Metroid Starvania. We're rapidly regaining the items we had at the start of the game, so... And there's clearly a lot to explore based on the number of hidden exits we're seeing appearing. Yes, now I should put a grenade on this slot. Yeah, select allows you to rotate the camera. The camera could have really benefited from dual analog, that I will say. Yeah, it doesn't support dual analog. Okay, it's my first boss. colour of him indicates the damage level, I'm guessing. Okay, I'm out of ammo for all my secondary weapons. Me and him. Okay, this is quite an easy boss fight. It says that as he gets whacked. I assume he's going to go bright red when he's near death. Yeah, this game really could have done with dual analog sticks. Certainly to move and shoot. Boss is taking quite a lot of damage as well. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Probe collected. What does the probe do? World map's actually rather dark. Okay, maybe. So there we go. Planet surface. I'll do it like that. That's better. Forest canyon and jungle gorge. So I've regained one of the probes. So it's fair to say I'm actually quite liking this. It's quite a nice thing. I think the control scheme would have benefited from dual analog. Of that, there is no doubt. And visually, this looks like a almost borderline Super SNES game in terms of sort of the visual details. I think almost like the FX chip in some regards. No disrespect to the developers, but visually this is not. It's a really early 3D game, and I've seen Super Nintendo games with the 3D FX. Super FX looks slightly better. Certainly Star Fox 2 has some nice. Ah, jumper recovered. Ah, yes. I'm just thinking if I return out the entrance I came in, or is this the only entrance? Are they forcing me a different way round now that I killed the boss? I just want to see if I can start investigating some of the other areas, although I will go back that way because I think the game at this stage is really trying to... Yep, we can jump. I just also want to nip back here because I know this is where the last save point was. So I'll actually play for a bit longer tonight. I might just see what I think of this because I've not really played it before, so it's certainly an interesting one to see. I realise it's something a bit obscure, but it's always actually nice to look at something that I think not that many people will have played, because I think there are a lot of very good games that just never got the credit or respect they deserved when they were originally released. Some were unfairly reviewed. Some like this, I think it's fair to say, were probably not visually that effete at the time, and are in the 90s, yeah, so I can jump around full access, so we really start exploring. So now I've got the jumping, I can really start going full Metroid on it. I'm quite liking the atmospheric soundtrack. So, okay, the visuals aren't that good. The frame rate with the different camera angles does dip a bit, not ideal. But the music and the gameplay are actually pretty good. Really, you do need to get used to the controls a little bit. So it's one of those games that obviously is a bit rough in places. So it's not going to be your everything's perfect Final Fantasy 7, 8 or 9 or your... Well, Metal Gear Solid's actually got a lot of flaws, but something like Rapid Reload, which is a very, very tightly polished game, this is very rough in places, and a lot of people would not necessarily like it because it's got those rough edges. But it's one of those games to me that, although it's got some rough edges, it's got some really nice ideas, and I think at its core, the core maybe it seems to be very good. And certainly early on, I mean, this is effectively my first impressions, but yeah, I'm liking what I see. I want to explore the world of the Divide, and I can now actually do that with this power. Okay, is that going to be too high for me? Yeah, it is. So, okay, that is basically we've got to wait for the double jump, but it's nice to know that we can start. I could go back to some of the early areas as well. I suspect I'm probably going to have to emigrate towards the double jump this early on. So yeah, this area actually has, it might be worth once we get double jump or a triple jump, revisiting this area. So how many status? So I got jumper, so that's already the double jump, map 1. There's probably not a huge map, so there's at least, well, we've got 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 weapons probably. Something, oh, that was the special weapon. Map 1, map 2. So yeah, probably not a huge amount of gear, although you could get upgraded gear, so you may find you get upgraded jumps. I'm just going to quickly check the manual. You can get armor. So you get armor 1, armor 2. There's a cooling unit so you can function extreme heat. Heating unit so you can function extreme cold. Transporter keys. Grips. So it keeps the bullets to stop you from sliding from ice. That's a permanent power up. Speeder allows the player to run at increased speed. So obviously leaper, jumper. Smart missiles, grenades, rockets, particle blaster, flame laser, Gatling gun and pulse laser. Okay, so that's the majority of all the power-ups. So we're able to walk on ice. You've got 3 levels of maps, you've got 2 degrees of armour. So okay, there's quite a bit to unlock. And the enemies drop plenty of ammo, so even if you run out, you do get it back quickly. Oh, that's a new health power up. Let me just check. Okay, so that's the door I came in on. These 3D maps are really quite cool. We've got power up there. So we've got 3 doors, and the question is, can I get to that? That's probably going to be too high. I'm probably going to need to double jump. Have we got a 4th door? Oh, we've got 4 up here. So this gives you the idea. We're obviously going to be toing and throwing quite a bit. So I'm down here in the bottom left. And obviously we have a lot of areas to traverse. So obviously I'm only going to be able to get to the first stage at this point in time because I've only got the single jump. I don't have the double jump, which we had in the tutorial. A bit annoying we had it in the tutorial and it was taken away. I'm never a big fan of that tactic of give the player something and just take them away. Okay, that wasn't so good by me. We'll be honest, the camera angle at that bit is a bit terrible. Probably on the near side one. Yes, the camera changed the lighting effects. That's a bit unexpected. I think I take damage from those falls as well. Yeah, this is actually quite a good sort of early Metroidvania. I can't think of any other 3D ones on the. I suppose you could argue some of the sort of spirals had a bit of Metroidvania. Yeah, that was a bit buggy there. As mentioned before, the jumping is a bit. The fact I have to change the camera angle, not so good. I mean, this is definitely not your Castlevania. Okay, and I fell down there. I'm not going to be able to get on the top there. Oh, I can do via that back. Oh, I can get that power up. Okay. But I'd definitely say this is a little bit rough and ready, to put it mildly, in places. Oh, this is going to be a save point, isn't it? Ah, I needn't have gone back to the jungle gorge. I could just overwrite this one then. Now, does the save point act as a heal? I think it does. I might be wrong, but I think it does. No, it doesn't. Sure where I went. Can't see where I fell off before. No, am I? See, I'm pretty sure I fell straight through that straight through the platform before. Criminy, I cannot see there. Yeah, you're gonna have to. I can't use that. That second camera angle is useless right now with the overhang. So one of the many quibbles with this. Ooh, so that's obviously an upgrade for the Gatling. Good, because we didn't have much ammo with the Gatling gun, have we? More now. It can go both ways. Let's try this door first. Ah, yeah. Now I remember. This was where we were right at this. That takes me back to the. Yes, this was that area right at the start that I couldn't, where I was stuck here and couldn't jump up over. Obviously now. Okay, so that's. So I know where I am now. I know how to get back to the opening area from here. But I'm not going to go back to the opening area, even though I've got the jump. Stuff like this is a bit precarious. So I just some of these airborne enemies are very tricky to shoot from this camera angle. So yeah, this is not what I would describe as a perfect video game. So far it's actually pretty damn good. Admittedly, you've got to get used to the strafe controls and raising the gun. I think the controls will be a bit fidgety for quite a few people. So yes, in answer to your question, Farah, apologies if I pronounce your name wrong, Farakar Khan, I would say this is actually quite a good game. I wouldn't say it's a perfect game, but I'd say it's a good game. Ooh, another Gatling canister upgrade, that's handy. Okay, does the map look clear as you explore? door up, so I've got down there. Obviously, I need to use those platforms to get to the door. So moving one as well, so up we go. Yes, I've actually got 2 points to go at this place. I can either go back to the starting area, or as you see here, we're going deeper into the forest, so... got multiple doors here. I'm going to stay on the top row. So yeah, this is rapidly expanding this explorative game. Okay, some of these jumps with these camera angles are a bit precarious, to put it mildly. I can see some of this getting a bit tetchy for some people, so really up here I can actually drop down. Ah, I know where we are now. Yeah, this was the area earlier where we were in the jungle area, so we're actually... this is where the boss door was. So we're going to head back into the jungle gorge. Gatling guns are actually a bit difficult to shoot. Oh, they're really close range as well. Obviously, I'm missing a canister for them. I wonder if that's back in the previous areas. Eek. No, I didn't want to do that. Eek. No, I've fallen back down here. This is the same one. Yeah, the range on these Gatling canisters is a bit... I am shooting strings. Yeah, so these Gatling guns are a bit tricky to actually shoot with because you've got to get them just right. And unlike like there, the shot isn't penetrating or going through. It's not easy to see. There it is. It's a little bit weird. That one's much easier to see as it's clearly a yellow shot, so it's much easier to see what's hitting things. I'm assuming the Gatling gun was hitting the top there, but yeah. Not ideal, and the fact I've fallen back down is not ideal either. I'm going to have to go back. Can I get there? No. Am I going to have to crawl all the way back? Ah! If I do have to, that's a bit of a long haul, and I might actually give that a break there then. Because it means having to re-navigate all that section, which you guys probably don't want to see, seeing as I failed out, although that's quite irritating, unless there was a little, what looked like an elevator to the next... Ooh. It looked like there might be a little elevator here. Yes, okay. Must have missed that before, unless it's only activated now. Okay, good. So that would have been very irritating having to go all the way up and around again. What I will say though is the jumping sections in this will probably annoy quite a few people. It's definitely, as I mentioned, a bit rough around the edges, but it's actually a really nice game. You know, I'm actually enjoying what I'm playing. So, although I haven't played that far into it, and this is actually the first time I really sat down and played this, it's not a bad game at all. I do like the music as well. It's very atmospheric. Okay, so obviously we need to head up to there. Okay, how does this one work? Please tell me I'm actually come to the wrong bit. Yeah, so shooting this. Yeah, he perhaps takes a few too many shots. Yes, the jumping's definitely going to irritate a few people. Really got to be careful with the camera. Well, those 3D platforms seem to respawn pretty quick, those falling platforms. Go through here. I keep doing that. Mustn't drop the bombs. That leads to the heat of the desert. Obviously, I know I need a cooling unit to go into the desert, so I'm not going to go into the desert just yet. Plus, we've come across a few new locations. Actually, let's just quickly see what the desert looks like. I bet you're going to start taking health damage as soon as I enter, though. But yeah, not bad at all. I think, as I mentioned, the platforming a lot of people would find very irritating because it's not refined. As I mentioned, this game has a lot of rough edges. It's clear to me that, but it's, you know what, from Metroidvania, if you wanted something in 3D on the PS1, it's not a bad choice. Warning over recover cooling unit. Yeah, it's going to start taking damage, I bet. Energy drain. Yep. Yeah, it's starting to take damage. Right, I thought we'd have a brief look in the desert just to see what it looked like. So we need a cooling unit to explore that, which I thought we would do. But yeah, I mean the music's really good. The atmospheric music's fantastic. May not be to everyone's taste, but it's quite good to bring out the atmosphere. Admittedly, it's not like a catchy music you're going to nod your head to, but it brings out the atmosphere of sort of a mystical unknown, yes, a normal temperature. So obviously, yeah, we can't go progressing. There's a great sense. It's the actual feel of this is quite. It does feel like you're in some unknown place. So I think it gets quite a lot right as a Metroidvania, but it's quite rough around the edges and places. I think some of the jumping sections are definitely gonna see a lot of people not liking them in the slightest. Trying to shoot some of these enemies as well can be a bit problematic. Oh, what's that? Pocket rocket launcher. Do another upgrade and power ups there. Got multiple doors down the bottom. Now, I think the question is, if I fall down, is that going to kill me? Let's find out. Well, cheers for the like, guys. Should I just mention, yeah, if you like our content, as always, please do smash that like button if you're able to. I know some people watching this may not be signed in, so won't be able to hit the like button. But this is definitely a very interesting Metroidvania on the PS1. Yeah, the Gatling gun's a bit of a pain. There's a rocket launcher. Okay, that's quite helpful. I just blew them to pieces. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up in a second, guys, but I will just see if I can find what's hidden. There's something hidden this side by the looks of it. Oh, finally got killed. Ah, that's annoying. Okay, so that's actually exploring the area. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a really good explorative title. I'm going to probably wrap that up there now, seeing as it means backtracking from the last save, I'm guessing. Yeah, that means backtracking from the last save. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. That was The Divide Enemies Within on the PS1, which is actually quite an interesting game. It is, as I mentioned, North American exclusive. It is rough around the edges as a Metroid style game, but you know what, it's not bad. And if you wanted, I'm quite enjoying that. That's not bad at all. That's if you wanted something that filled that niche on the PS1, because I know there aren't many games, and certainly everyone and his dog, it's fair to say, has played Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And once you've done Castlevania Symphony of the Night, this is not a bad alternative if you don't mind the slightly fidgety things with it. It's not bad. I mean, yeah, it didn't. I don't think it cost us that much to buy, so it's still relatively cheap. But I think if you're in Europe, it's going to be a little bit tricky to find. Got the auto track running with all the various upgrades and whatnot going on. But obviously, there's quite a lot to it, and it's not bad. I think it's probably there's a few bits. Yeah, so there he's running. You can see there's this interactive. The little dude's running way faster, and double jumping as well. So obviously, you get quite a lot of different upgrades as you go on. But yeah, certainly not bad. So it was as I mentioned, it was published by Viacom. It was developed by Radical Entertainment, released in 1997. There is a PC version as well, but as that was designed for Windows 98, that's probably going to be very tricky to get to run on modern day systems unless you've got configured. I mean, you might be better with a virtual box trying to get that to run. But yeah, interesting PS1 game, certainly worth an investment if you can pick up relatively cheaply. I wouldn't say it's the best example of the genre. I can think of a lot better versions on 3D, but you know, if you've done Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it's not a bad alternative to play through. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to finish for tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking the like button, guys. If you haven't already, click that like button. If you like our content and would like to subscribe, please do hit that subscribe button. If not, I'm gonna just finish off by wishing you a good night, a good evening, a good morning, or a good afternoon, wherever you are in the world watching this stream. I have been your host for this randomised gaming stream, the editor of Randomised Gaming, Random Gamer Riven, and I will see you in tomorrow's stream. I'm probably actually going to do a Saturn game. I was thinking I might do Rampage World Tour tomorrow, as I've discovered there are some hidden levels in it. I want to see if I can actually get to them in the Saturn's version. There's a cheat to do in the Saturn's version if you can get to them, or whether they're not in the Saturn's version, in which case that's one of those annoying things. I'm watching the demos of this. It's actually quite funny. The demo, half the time the player seems to get stuck on the wall, so yeah, perhaps not the best demonstration videos, but yeah, not a bad game at all, this one. I'd certainly recommend it. If, as I said, if you haven't played, if you like the genre and you've done Symphony of the Night to death, because there really weren't many other games on in this period. In fact, I think Symphony of the Night is really the only one that I can just remember. I can just think about. I'm sure there's one or two others, but there really weren't many. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to finish the stream now, but thanks for watching. Remember, hit that like button as always, subscribe to the channel, and of course, if you want notifications from us, hit the bell button. I'll see you all in tomorrow's stream. Good night, and see you all tomorrow.